Ladies and gentlemen, been looking at the Democrat debates in the caucuses lately, and the association of these millennials and socialism is no secret. One of the main purveyors, the main purveyor of this socialism is a gentleman by the name of Bernie Sanders, who admittingly did have, his nomination stolen in 2016 by Hillary Clinton, and no doubt the Democrat establishment will no doubt steal it from him again. I mean, I don't even know why he's running. As we know, October 30th, 1961, Mr. Sanders, and this is the question no one will ever ask him. They don't have the balls to ask him. I'm going to ask it here. Maybe it'll get to him. On the 30th of October, 1961, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic detonated Tsar Bomba, a 50 megaton obscenity that produced one of the biggest air blasts in the history of our entire planet over the past 65 million years. This air blast wiped out almost the entire ozone layer in the northern hemisphere. It sent shockwave around the world. Most of the polar bears, at least half of them, were irradiated. And as you know, with radiation sickness, what happens is you lose your hair. These polar bears lost all their hair and froze to death in the polar regions. Seals were devastated. Windows were shattered in homes hundreds of miles away. People were hit with flying glass. The pilots who dropped this bomb, according to the generals who built it, only had a 50% chance of survival, and their aircraft sustained severe damage before it came back to land. In fact, it's almost a miracle that it did land. This thing wasn't even detonated on the ground. This thing was detonated like 30,000 feet in the air, Mr. Sanders. These are facts. Nevertheless, after 1961, you continued to collude, associate with, and have discussions with members of the Communist Party. Mr. Sanders, how could you embrace socialism after this? Why were you taking trips to the Soviet Union and talking to Soviet agents after this? I mean, didn't it occur to you that these are crazy people? Mr. Sanders, what the hell were you thinking associating with these people? And to this day, Mr. Sanders, I have not heard you one time condemn the communist, socialist, Soviet regime for detonating this obscenity of a weapon. Mr. Sanders, do you believe that the loss of an empire does not justify even putting something like this on paper? And oh, by the way, there was a 100 megaton version that they didn't even build. Okay? Mr. Sanders, here's my question. Don't you think this discredits socialism? I mean, doesn't this produce any reservations in your mind, Mr. Sanders? With these questions, nobody will ever ask you these questions. CNN isn't going to ask you. Even the Hillary Clinton isn't going to ask you this. Mr. Sanders, what the hell possible mental malfunction would cause you to overlook this and associate yourselves with such people and socialist ideology underlying these people that led to this low point in human history? Thank you very much.